Fiona, and this is my little friend Percy, and we are very excited to announce our next running challenge. Hence, we're wearing our vegan runner top. Not that we don't grab any and every opportunity to wear our vegan runner clothing, because it's a great way of promoting veganism in a positive, proactive and peaceful way, and that's what we are all about. So let me explain. I'll introduce myself very quickly for those of you who do not know me. Named Fiona Oakes, been vegan for almost over half a century now. That's 50 years. Yes, practically my entire life I have been vegan, ethical vegan. Everybody's different. For me, veganism is always and will always be about the animals. Almost 30 years ago, I started an animal sanctuary called Tower Hill Stables Animal Sanctuary, which is home to hundreds of animals which we care for passionately. We would like to do more for animals physically, but we can't. We realised that after a couple of years of running the sanctuary, you can't help them all. So what we need to do is stop looking at the symptoms and address the cause. That's animal abuse and exploitation throughout many, many horrible industries. But how do you do that? You need a voice for which to speak out. And so I decided I was going to try and build myself a little platform through running. I know it sounds strange, but that's what I decided. So 21 years ago, Vegan Runners was founded, and now it's an enormous club. Around the world, globally, got members. Pretty much every start line you go to, you'll see a vegan runner on there. Wasn't like that 21 years ago. Hardly anyone had ever heard the word vegan, let alone considered what it was. And there were all these myths and stereotypes around those who followed a plant-based diet, in that you were going to be weak and you wouldn't thrive, you would have a job surviving. That's totally wrong. It's totally opposite. You survive and thrive on a plant-based diet, and that's what I want to promote. And to that end, I've got my next challenge coming up. I've done all sorts of things in the past. I've got top 20 places in the world's major marathons like Berlin and London. I've won and got course records around the world, road running marathons. I'm the fastest woman to run a marathon on every continent and at the North Pole in both time elapsed and running time. I've broken world records for being the fastest woman to run a half marathon in an animal costume. That costume was a cow outfit, to raise awareness of the atrocities of the dairy industry. So I combine my running with advocating for the animals. Literally, it's activism for the animals by being physically active. I've run across deserts like the Sahara, multi-stage races like Marathon des Sables multiple times, the Atacama Desert, the Namib Desert. We've pretty much been there, done it and seen it all, but we've never seen anything like this next race, have we, Percy? We really haven't. Very, very excited. I keep showing you Percy because Percy is my little mascot of the sanctuary, and he comes with me on all these adventures, and people do really get to love Percy. But anyway, the next race is it's new to me, it's new to everyone, it's even new to the race organisers who are very, very experienced in organising multi-stage races, but never a race which is a multi-stage distance. But the key here is it's in one stage. So just for those who don't know, multi-stage races can be anything from about 60, 70, 80 kilometres right up. Usually 250 kilometres held over a week, where you stop, obviously, at night, regroup, recamp, survive, cook your meals, do whatever you've got to do, get up the next day and run. This one is going to be 100 miles long, or 160 kilometres plus, whichever kind of way you like to work. But as I say, it's going to be in one stage with a cut-off time of 40 hours to complete the entire distance. There are other long races like that, but not held in a desert, with all the extreme and extenuating factors they're going to bring to the running. It's not just going to be about running, it's going to be about body management, surviving. There's going to be lots of other things other than just straightforward running. Obviously, the terrain. You're going to have sand dunes, you're going to have jebels to climb, you're going to have dried up salt licks to run across. They're probably going to be the best parts, because you can actually kind of run across those. You're going to have the inevitable sandstorms, so you're going to have to hunker down and wait for those to pass. You're going to have to stop to refuel. As I say, there's going to be temperature. You're going to have to be doing night running where it gets cold at night. It's going to get very, very hot in the day. There's going to be all sorts of added factors and obstacles that make this a really, really challenging event. So how do you train for it? Bearing in mind that I've trained for loads of these kind of endurance events or extreme. I don't know how to train for this. The only way I know is to get yourself as physically fit and prepared as is humanly possible. So over the next couple of 3 months, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I've been doing quite a lot of training through the summertime. I've got a treadmill in a greenhouse. I do a lot of road running, I do a lot of trail running, I do a lot of hill running. I do any running when and wherever I can, especially in the summer months when you've got more daylight hours. But I'm going to have to start going out running at night, because you've got to get used to running at night again. It's quite hard running with a head torch, spatial awareness. I find it quite difficult, but it's something I'm going to have to do. Over 40 hours, chances are there's going to be 2 night stages in there. You're going to have to work out what nutrients you're going to need to take on. I'm thinking I'm only going to take on fluids, because I'm going to get so exhausted doing this that I think the body's going to find it hard to digest solids, but that's something else I'm going to think about. I've got no professional team around me to guide me with this. I just need to be as physically and mentally and also spiritually prepared as possible for it. I'm going to be documenting it all online. So come along for the ride, just see what I'm doing. You might be able to adapt some of it into your own running, see what works, what doesn't work. There's going to be kind of cross training, multiple training sessions in a day. Strength work, I don't tend to do formal strength work like gym stuff. All the work at the sanctuary, which is very, very physical, I tend to factor in as the strength work. But you're going to need to be tough. I mean, this is pretty hardcore. Bearing in mind the extreme stuff I've done in the past, I think this is going to be the icing on the cake with the cherry on top, if I can get through this. But on a serious note, I'm doing it to promote veganism. Veganism for me is all about animals. But the obvious benefits, the knock-on benefits from that are your health, global human health, fairer distribution of resources, addressing the problems that we face presently and future with climate change, and also negating all the atrocities of animal abuse, just the torture and cruel exploitation of our friends the animals, and all the negativity that brings and toxicity that brings to this beautiful planet. So anyway, if you want to help, get involved. You can share what I'm doing if I put posts on there. Just support me, a few kind words along the way, because I'm sure to get very tired and down during all this. And obviously financially, if you do want to sponsor me, that would be wonderful, because all the funds go to help the animals at the sanctuary that were founded almost 30 years ago, and try and secure its present and hopefully its future into, well, many years ahead, so that the animals here who have been saved and are liberated can stay that way for the rest of their lives. Thank you so much for listening.